Hello everyone. So in this video, we're going to be adding all of these preferences, different options for the user to be able to customize their recipe to their liking. And also if they have maybe some food allergies or anything like that, they will be able to specify that and generate the appropriate food recipe that they need. So I hope you're excited. Let's go right into the video. Welcome back everyone. In this video we're going to continue working with the recipe generator, and we're going to head back to the create page in order to give the user more options when they're generating the recipe. So we're going to be working with the UI. We're going to go back to working with the prompt that we set up before, and that's pretty much all the updates we need to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started by making sure that our server is running, and let's refresh the browser here so the application can reload and we can continue from there. I'm going to hide the terminal here, and I'm going to give you more space here. So right now we at the home page. We can go to the create page, and as you can see, we just asking the user which ingredients they would like to use in order to generate the recipe. But you might have users that they are on a diet, and maybe they have some food allergies, and we need to give the user some more options. So this is what we're going to work on this video. So if we head back to the create page here, we can scroll down and we can see where we have the generate new recipe, and then we have our form here. And inside of the form, we have a label for the ingredients in the text area, and then the input here. So after the text area, we're going to be working in here with some new elements. And I already put together a part 5 markup file just to save you some time on typing all of the HTML. And we can see here that we are going to get different select forms. Pretty much just going to have a label and a select element with many options in there, and I'm going to use all of these here, but feel free to either use the ones that you want or maybe even add ones that I miss. So pretty much we're going to copy all of this, and we're going to see that we're going to have a options for if the user is on a diet, the cuisine type, the meal type, if it's breakfast, lunch, the cooking time, if they want to make something quick, something that takes under an hour, 15 minutes, serving size, giving the user options to say it's one single serving so they can get the right measurements, or family size, difficulty level to see if you want to make something easy, intermediate, depending on your cooking experience. Flavor option, if you want something spicy, sweet. Then the cooking method, if you want to find something that is in the air fryer or baking, whatever options you want in here. And all of these are going to have like a disable option where the user can either select, they don't have to select all of these, just the ones that they want. So you're going to see here, they're going to have the nutritional preference. So low calories, high protein, low fat, anything that they want. And if they have an occasion, so if there's something that they want, a romantic dinner, something for a party, barbecue, or any other options that you want to add to the list. So feel free to pick the ones you want and refactor or add more options here. And then at the bottom, we're going to have a allergen filter, where we're going to, instead of just having the user pick one option, we're going to make this available for the user to pick multiple ones. So we're going to have an array where we're going to map over this in a second. So let's copy everything up from here, and we're going to bring it back to the create page, and we're going to paste it right after the text area, and I'm going to paste it in there. So you notice I put some comments in here so we can see all of these more clearly. There we go. So after the text area, we start with the different options we're going to see. Now, if I refactor this or format the document, format, save, we have the options in here, right? We have all the different select fonts here. We're just missing at the bottom, we have the label for the allergies options here. So we're going to go back to that file, scroll all the way down, and let's copy this array here. And we're just going to put that array all the way at the top of the file. So let's put that. We can actually put this even outside. Let's put it out here. So these are the allergen options that we have. And then we can actually just close the HTML markup file now and save this for now, because we need to map over this and render a different element for these. So this should be okay. All right, so after the label here, let's go and just map over the data. So let's go and in here, let's have a fragment. Inside of the fragment, we're going to have curly brackets so we can map over the allergen options array that we have. And we're going to do a map. We're going to grab each option. And for each option, we're going to return. So parentheses, hit enter inside of the parentheses. And in here, let's have a div. And on the div, let's set up the key right away. And we're going to pass the option dot value. And by the way, if I scroll up really quick, we have inside of the array, we have objects with a value property and a label property here. And the value is, we'll say what to exclude if you're allergic to X, and there's a label property with the text we're going to render. So one property for the value, one property for the label. So we're using the value here. And then we can actually, let's set an ID. And for this ID, it can be allergen filters. And inside of the div, we're going to render a input. And let's set that to a type checkbox. So these ones are going to be a checkbox, and we're going to set the value of these of option to option dot value as well. And then we're going to keep it like this for now, but then right after the input, let's just render a label here. And inside of the label, we're going to show the option dot label. Label in there we go, and save it. So now we have checkboxes here for the user to pick more than one. And right now let's just fix a little bit of the UI here so we can actually see everything here. So let's go to the form all the way at the top, right over here. And let's set the let me see, we have the height of the form set to 96. So let's go and let's see, let's put let's take this off. All right, and then we're going to set, let's see if we don't have a padding. Let's see how it looks. That's fine. I think this should do it. That's fine. Yeah, let's keep it like that. And we have 96 of width, but what if we do 50%? 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 50%. 96. Let's see how it looks a little bit bigger. That's fine. We can keep it like that. All right. So in here, from the text area, let's see what we have. Text area, we have classes, flex one. Let's see in here how it looks. Yeah, that's still fine. Just removing some of the things that might affect the layout. And then on the div here, let's see if we need to, we can keep it like this. I think this doesn't look that bad. I was going to set the height to full here, but I don't think it's gonna change anything now. Oh, it's set to screen here. That's all. Let's change it to full. Let's see. Right now, that's fine. But if we make it back to screen, yeah, let's give it a screen. Okay, that's fine. We can still work with this pretty good. And then we'll change anything. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So for, let's say, when we add this up, we're going to now, we need to make all of these functional, right? So we just copy the UI, the elements, and paste it in here. But now let's go back and we need to, let's declare a new type, because we're going to create a new state here, and we're gonna need to make it type safe. So the state that we're gonna need is for the recipe options, where we're gonna track all these values for the new elements that we added to the page. So let's say const recipe options and set recipe options, and we're gonna set that equals to use state, and we're going to initialize that to an object, and inside of the object we're going to need to type all of the different key value pairs or property names. So in here we're gonna need to type, for example, this one here, the name of each one of these, right? So we can either copy this and add it in here, but I'm gonna try to do it in here really quick. So that's the first one for the dietary preferences, and then we're gonna have the cuisine type, and make sure we don't make any typos. This is why I wanted to kind of like copy and paste it, but let's just type these out really quick. Meal type, we need the cooking time, and all of these are going to be strings except for the last one, cooking time, right? Cooking time. What was the other one? I have cooking time, serving size, then I have difficulty level, flavor, difficulty label, level, flavor, profile, and then we can have the cooking method, and then we're going to have the nutritional preference, and then we have the occasion, and the last one, we're gonna make it occasion. We're gonna make it an array. So this is gonna be allergen filters, because it's gonna be more than one. We can set that one to an array. Cool. So now all of these property names are going to match these names here for each one of the select elements: cuisine type, meal type, cooking time, serving size, and so on and so forth, right? All the way to the allergen filter. And then that's everything we need to do in here. Now I want to create a quick type for this here. And actually I want to copy this, and we're gonna go and create a type. So inside of our types here, we're going to create a export type recipe options, and we're gonna set that equals to this object that we have. And then instead of quotes here, I'm gonna grab hold Control D to highlight all of these except for the last one, set that to a string. And the last one is going to be a string array. Right, so now each one of these is a string, and the last one is a array of strings. And then we can use this type recipe options, copy that, bring it back to the create page. We can import this. Let's just import it. Let's say that the type of this state is going to be a recipe options array. Oh no, recipe options, that's fine. That's how we need to set it to. Cool. All right, so now we got the types in there, so that way we can continue safely to work with the state in here. So now that we have the UI, we need to attach or connect or bind actually each one of these state properties to each one of these inputs. So let's do that now. Let's start with the preferences here for the diet, and let's go into each one of these here. So select, in the select input here, let's hit enter here, and let's say the value, and then we just need to bind this to recipe options dot, and this one is dietary preferences. Then we need to do the same with each one of these. Select input here, value, and the value will be bind to recipe options dot cuisine type. Next input on the meal type, we're gonna say value, recipe options dot meal type. Next select will be value, and then we're gonna do recipe options dot cooking time. And then the next one will be value, and then recipe options dot serving size. We got a couple of more here, so this one is again value, recipe options dot difficulty level, value, and the next one recipe options dot flavor profile. And I'm just doing all of them, but if you didn't pick all of these, that's completely fine. I just want to give the user as many as we can get, as many options we can get. So recipe options dot cooking method, and then we have this one will be the nutritional preferences. So recipe options dot nutritional preference, occasion in here, that occasion right here. And then for the allergens here, Let's see, because in here we need to, yeah, let's just do, we have already set the value to each one of these. So this can stay like this, but let's go in here. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna, let's set the checked value property here to, so checked will be if the user clicks on this and it's checked, this will be true. And if they're unchecked, it will be false. So right now all of these are false until the user clicks on one of these, and there will be, the value will be true. So the way we're going to handle this, we're going to check the array inside of recipe options dot allergen filters, which is an array, and we can use the dot includes, and we're going to check if that array includes this input. So we're going to check if it includes the option dot value to see if it's in there. Right, so now if we take a look at the state, let's close this up real quick, open in the DevTools, and then we could double check that the state is working. Let's go to components, and let's find all the way at the bottom our create page. And where's the state? Right here. So create page, we have our state is all the way here. Right, this is all the values we have. Now if we click on one of these here, come on. Oh, I have to work on the onChange. We have to work on the onChange. So right now we're not able to update the value. So this is fine, but we can still test this to see if, well, let's work on that right away so we can just test it formally. So before we can check if everything is working there, let's work on the handle check, like a handle for the checkbox for the onChange. So on this one, let's see what we need to do here. Let's add this one. Let me keep that close. Function handle submit. Let's work on that one here. And for this one, let's create let's do const handle checkbox change, set that equals to the arrow function. The arrow function will take the event. The event will be of type change event, and the type of element we're working on is a HTML input element. So in here we're going to update our state whenever there's a change on the checkboxes that we are rendering here. So let's destructure the value and the checked property from e.target, and then here we're going to call the set recipe options setter function to update the state, and we're going to take the previous state and let's return here. Let's go and say, let's check if it was checked. So if it's checked, so let's say const new filters, because we're gonna check if the element, the input that was checked, that was clicked, was already was it checked before or it was unchecked. So we're gonna say this is gonna be equals to, let's check the value of checked. We're gonna check if it's true. We're going to return a new array with the previous state, and then we're just going to add the value at the end. and then else we're going to let's filter out the one with the value. So we're going to use previous state. And what's going on here? So let's see. Argument previous state voice is not assignable to parameter set action recipe. That's fine. Well, let's keep going with this for now. And let's say if it's checked, we want to spread the previous state and add the new one at the top. But if it's false, we want to use the filter function in order to, let's grab each item, and we want to return the item that is not equals to the value. Let's see, previous state expression is not callable on a array of string. So let's see what's going on here. We have the previous state, we have the allergen filters, and then I forgot to do that filter, right? That filter. So previous state, and then we access the allergen filter array, and then we can call the filter. There we go. So now that we have that in there, we could return, after that, we could return a new object with the previous state, and then we're going to set allergen filters property to the new filters that we calculated here. Let's format this really quick and let's see what we have in here. So here, let's see. So previous state is not an array type. Oh, because I'm still not doing previous state dot allergen filters. That's what we need to type in there. We're taking the previous state, we access the allergen filters to spread it into a new array and add the value at the end. Else, we're going to filter out the one we're trying to remove. So let's see if we now, well, we need to attach this function, the handle checkbox change. We can scroll the way down to the select in the allergen here. And then we can say that on change here, on the input on change, we want to call the handle checkbox change. And I think that should do it. Let's take a quick look again at the okay. This here is because of the value. Let me see if I scroll all the way up really quick. And I see we have screen instead of screen. I wanted to change it to full. There you go. That's why I wanted to do that. Okay, so now there was a quick change just so we can keep the page on the right side. So let's go to components again. And let's try to look at the state and scroll the way down to the create page. And then on the object here, if we click here, okay, now it's being added because we are updating our state inside of this function. Now let's add another one. Let's remove this one. Let's remove this one. And that's being updated just fine. Cool. So our next step would be to be able to update all the other values for all of these inputs here. And this one, we just need one single updater handle update function. Right now, if we click on, let's say what we can see here, cuisine type all the way at the top. If we click on it, we're not updating the stages yet. So let's go and create. Let's do it right under this one. That's fine. Let's do const handle. Let's just call it handle change equals to a arrow function, and this one is going to take the event. Is going to be a change event just like the other one, and it will be on either, let's see what we have. We have a HTML input. Let's see if we got a handle submit here. We got a handle or handle change. Okay, so it should be, let's just say HTML select element. I think that's the only one we have. And then let's see, we can also do, let's do, yeah, I think, let me see, select element. Do we only have a select element? Yeah, that's fine. So let's just update the stages in here. That's fine. So in here, we're gonna call the set recipe options, and let's grab again the previous state. And here we want to return a new object, and we just need to spread the previous state, and then we just need to update the e.target dot name with the e.target dot value. So it's going to look at the name of the input, and then it's going to use that one to match it to one of these, and then it's going to add the value to this one. So if we need to pass this handle change to all of these here. So let's go into each one of these. There's quite a few, so let's do on change. We want to call this here. We can actually just copy this because it will be the same to each one of these selects. So here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in here. Cool. The last one, the allergen, that one's already set up. So let's format this document and let's scroll all the way to the top. Now let's do a quick test here to make sure all of these are being updated. So let's just pick a value for each one of these to make sure everything is working fine. Nutritional is down here. Location, and then speak up, pick all of these here. Cool. All right, so all of these are being added, so we are doing good. The state is ready. Now the user doesn't have to pick all of these, they're just going to pick whatever they need here, right, for each one of these. So if they and they're not allergic, they don't pick any of these, so they're just going to select whatever they need, and then they're going to add the ingredients in here. So as soon as they do that, they're gonna click generate, and we're gonna send all of the options that were selected with our prompt. Cool. So now we should be ready to, now we need to pass all of these options. So our recipe options, we need to also pass it to our handle submit. So in our handle submit here, we send in the generate recipe with the ingredients, which is the array of ingredients. And then the recipe options also need to be passed so we can use it in the prompt. So recipe options is going to go in with the inside of the handle submit. On the generate recipe, we're going to put a comma. We're going to pass it in there. We're going to get an error because this function is not expecting 2 arguments, but we'll fix that in a second. As soon as we go to the generate recipe, which is the action for generating the recipe here. And then we could say that we're going to also receive a value called recipe options, which is going to be of type, and the type is going to be recipe options, our type that we created, and make sure it gets imported here. And now it knows all the different properties and values that we need for the recipe options. And then now what we need to do is work on updating the prompt in here. So for the new options that we have here for the recipe, we need to do quite a few steps in order to now generate a prompt that will take care of adding and checking all the recipe options. Right now our prompt is in here and it's taking just this in here to create it. But in order to organize it a little bit better, let's create really quick. We can just create a, not what I want. Let's close all this stuff here. Let's just create a utils folder. Let's create a index.js. And in here, let's just create a function export function. Let's call it generate recipe prompt, which is going to take in the ingredients and it will receive the recipe options. And then here we're going to work on generating the recipe prompt. So let's import this function back into generate recipe action. So let's go, and at the top, let's say import generate recipe, generate, where is it? Let's say from add /utils. Where's my utils folder? There we go. And let's say generate recipe prompt. So let's copy, instead of having, we see what we have recipe prompts here. Instead of having the whole recipe here, we're gonna cut this, and in here instead we're just gonna call it generate recipe prompt, pass in the ingredients and pass in the recipe options. And now it should, don't worry about this here, because right now this is not returning anything. So TypeScript will give us an error here. But now we can go and work inside of generate recipe prompt. So let's save this and go back to the utils. Let's just paste what we have in here. that we got from the generate recipe action. And let's work inside of this. So in here, ingredients is going to be, let's say, a string array, and recipe options is going to be of type recipe options, and the type gets imported in here. Format this really quick. All right, so we got the types in here of the values that we're going to get. So in here, we're going to, instead of pasting this, just working on a string, we're going to say, let's call this one const prompt sections. And we're going to set that equals to an array. Let's wrap this string inside of an array. So opening square brackets there and closing square brackets in here. Format it. And I call it prompt sections because we're going to first have this section here, then we're going to add the recipe options. So I want to break it down into different sections here so we can actually loop over these options here and see which one the user actually selects. All right, so here we have create a detailed recipe based on only the following ingredients. We can have a backslash new line here if we want to, and then now in here, instead of, let's say, concatenation, we can put we don't need backticks here anymore, so quote, let's actually just wrap this into normal quotes. Open and close, closing quote in here, and then comma, because it's an array, this is the first value in the array. Second value in the array will be this ingredients, and we can now just spread this. So let's put a comma here. Let's just spread the values from the ingredients array. And now the next value will be to, let's say, let's pass the, let's say in here, after ingredients, let's have another string here, comma. Let's say, make sure the recipe follows the following preferences. Preferences. Oh, no. In here. Okay, what am I typing around prep? Okay. There we go. And then let's put a new line here again. So first section of the prompt will be create a detailed recipe based on only the following ingredients. New line. We spread the ingredients, and then we say make sure the recipe follows the following preferences. New line. And now here, let's see. I think we're gonna push this to. And let's see, let's keep that in here for now, but I want to pass the preferences after this and then keep this at the bottom. So actually let's just, let's say, let's keep, okay, let's grab this string here, cut it. Let's delete that extra comma. Let's just keep this like this. And then what we're gonna do in here after this here, let's go and put here prompt sections dot push, and we're gonna push that string at the end because I want to do something here before. So we got the array here. This is all we need for the array at the beginning. Now we're going to loop over the recipe options, and we're going to add whatever we need to add. And then we're going to push this at the bottom to this array. Right, and then let's go here. And in here, we're going to say, remember this is an object, so we're going to use objects dot entries, so we can get the key and values. And let's pass it the recipe options object, and then we can do a dot for each. And then inside of the for each, we're going to receive, let's put parentheses, the structure, the key, comma, value. And then after the blue parentheses here, arrow and curly brackets. So now we're looping over the array, and we're gonna look at the key value of the object. We're gonna check first. Remember, in the object, we have one value that's an array. So let's take care of that value right away. We're gonna check if, let's use the array that is array. We're gonna check the value. So the current value is an array, and the value dot length is greater than 0, meaning the user actually picked one of the allergen filters here. If both of these are true, we're going to say prompt sections dot push, and we're going to push the string of allergen filters, and then we're going to say colon $ curly brackets to pass the value dot join. The value, it will be an array, and we're going to join by, let's say, quotes, comma, space. So we'll be joined if we do have, if it's an array, of course, and that means we got the allergen filters, and the value is greater than 0, meaning we have some values in there. We're going to push to this array, we're going to push the string allergen filters, and we're going to add all of the ones that they added, and then we're going to join them by a comma and then a space, so it's formatted correctly as a string here. So we could actually, let's say we have, let's do, let me see, what else can we do? Let's add right at the end a new line, and then let's go to the else statement here. And in the else, we can actually just, we could say prompt sections that push, and then we could push a string that will have the key and value, just like this key. No, we can say, we can just pass key and then value. But the problem that we have if we do this, and we can do like a new line here too, is that the key, remember the key for each one of these is in camel case, right? So it would be maybe not the best to send the values like this. Maybe work, maybe the LLM can actually read the values properly, but I have a short format function that can help us with that. So I'm just gonna copy it over, and we can put it all the way at the top here, and I'll just tell you what this is going to do here. So we have a little helper function here, format key. We're just gonna grab each key from the object, so this one here, and it's going to run some regex in order to find any uppercase that we have. So for example, if we have this uppercase here, P, and when it sees the uppercase P, is going to replace it with a space and then a P. So it's gonna kind of like prepend a space before the uppercase. So it will kind of like just do this, right? So you can separate them by the camel case. And then we are going to, after we do that, and this one has the G flag, so it's gonna do for all of them just in case we have more than one uppercase. For our case, we don't, but that's fine. That we'll take care of that if we add anything else later on. And then the second one, we're just going to find the first letter on the key, and it's going to make it uppercase. So it's going to grab the first here, and the first letter is going to make it uppercase. So that will format everything as a regular English, like we would normally format it. So we just need to call this function right here. So we're gonna need to do, let's just do inside, we can keep it here. We can say format key, and we can pass the key here. Okay, so now I think we have in here, let's add some comments. This is the prompt sections array. Here we are going to loop over the recipe options object and add the options to the array. And then finally we're going to add the last piece of the prompt, which is the same one we had before with the with instruction give the title recipe, and this is the format we want, so we don't need to change anything there. So at the bottom here, let's have a console log just so we can see how the prompt sections dot join will look. So we're just going to join everything together. So everything in this array will be joined. So we will see one string, which is going to be hopefully formatted properly. And then we could return prompt sections that join, just so we can take care of that right away here. Cool. All right, so this utility function now is completed. Now back into generate recipe here, we are calling that function. We're passing the ingredients, we're passing the recipe options, we're console logging the recipe prompt here. So we actually just console logging it here, so we actually don't need this console log right over here, because the value that gets returned, we're already catching it in here, and we just console log in that variable there. So before we test this, let's comment out everything after line 34 here, or 35. Let's go all the way down and comment everything out until line 91, recipe path. Comment that out, save. So we can just look at the console log and see how everything looks. So now open this up. Let's say I want rice, comma, chicken. And here we're gonna say I want low carb. I want a American dish. I want a lunch under 15 minutes, single serving, that's fine. Something easy. I don't want spicy. I want maybe something sweet. Cooking method, I want maybe grill. And then select nutritional preferences. We can have high protein, And here we can check comfort food. And let's say I am allergic to, let's say, spig eggs, spig nuts, just so we can have a couple of values in there. And now let's click generate. And now let's look at the console log here. And right now we're throwing an error here. Maybe I forgot to comment something out. But I did forget to maybe comment this out. Oh, it went to the recipe undefined here. So it threw an error, but that's fine because we just forgot to comment everything that was necessary. But let's say in here, we say create a detailed recipe based on only the following ingredients. We got the colon there. Let's verify that that colon is actually in the right place. Oh, we got the new line before. I got the new line here, so let's delete the new line there. Let's put it after the colon. And then let's say recipe, chicken, okay, rice, chicken, make sure the recipe follow the following preferences. Let's do colon here too, a new line. And then let's say, you see how now this is formatted as we want it to. Low carb, American lunch, under 15 minutes, single serving, easy, sweet. Nutritional preferences, I don't see that here. Comfort food, nutritional preference looks like it's not passing the value. So let's go and go back here. And let's double check back in the form. Nutritional preferences, where is this located? In here, recipe options, nutritional service, main preference. And then did I pick something here? Oh, I didn't pick anything there. So that's, did I pick anything? I did pick something. I think I remember picking high protein. So value, recipe option, nutritional preference, that's fine. It should be working. Let's give it a refresh. Save, refresh here. Whoops, what happened? Let's go through this again. Let's pick a few of these. Sweet. Grill. High protein. Comfort food. 3 this time, generate. And let's look at the output here. Okay, so here we go. Create a detailed recipe with the following ingredients. Rice, chicken, this is being appended to this on the side there. But let's see, we got all the values: low carb, lunch, grill. Nutritional preference is not there. So we got to fix that there. And then give the recipe a title. And this is fine here. So we got to fix this here. So back into the utils, ingredients in here. When we spread it, let's put a new line at the front here too. And then the last thing we gotta check is why let's look at the nutritional preference that is not taking the value, but it's here, so it should be working. Let's go back and refresh, and let's hide this terminal real quick. Let's go back to the page here. And let's see our state. Let's look at the state here. Scroll the way down, click on create page. Let's click on nutritional, high protein. Let's see if this is being updated. It is here. So what's going on from here? That's being added. Okay. So not sure why it's not being added. Maybe I didn't pick it correctly. Oh wait, what's going on here? Did I just pick this? Oh, it's not being selected correctly. See, this one is not being the value. There's something with there's something on the form. So let's look at this here, nutritional preference. We have select recipe option, nutritional preference here. On change, handle change. Okay. Looks good to me. Let's look at the nutritional preference. Nutritional preference, that looks fine. On the on change, either target the name, either target that value. Let's look at the value here again. Value, name, nutritional preferences. Okay, I got an S here, and I don't have an S here. So let's just make it singular because there's only one. Let's make it plural because I think I have everything with an S. Just to keep it consistent, let's put an S here. And no, because the type, then everything will be different. Okay, so let's just remove the S for this here. And now this should work just fine. Let's try it this again, and now it should work properly. Let's try this again. I'm just gonna pick some random values just to hurry up. The recipe might not be the best if I just pick random values like this, but we'll see what happens. Barbecue this time and generate. All right, we got the error, don't worry about that. More important that we have this here, we got the ingredients, and then we have a value here, here, and now here, barbecue, and then we got our allergens there, nutritional, and then we got the last part of the prompts. Cool, so that's ready. That is looking good. So let's go back in here. And now let's make this a little bit smaller. And now that we have this fix, we had the prompt being returned and we console logging in here. Now let's Control Z back so we can put everything back in. So now we should have the prompt, the updated prompts here, and that prompt will be sent to OpenAI and it should generate the new recipe. So in here, let's finish up. Let's do it again. Let's just do shrimp. Let's do shrimp. Let's do let's say spaghetti or something, whatever you want. Let's go for dairy free, cuisine type Italian, meal type lunch, cooking time, let's say under an hour, serving size single, difficulty level easy, I don't know how to cook. Let's do savory, let's do baking, grilling, stove top, and then let's do low fat occasion, let's say romantic dinner, and let's say I'm allergic to nuts and maybe eggs and not shellfish, because maybe we can try it, but let's just click generate. Now it's generating. Let's give it a few seconds. Remember, it's generating the prompt. It's generating, we can see the progress here too. We got the recipe created, we got the image created, and now we got everything in here. All right, we got savory dairy-free shrimp spaghetti. Look at that. And now we have, let's see if it's matching our preferences. So it's dairy-free. It's a romantic lunch with easy and flavorful Italian dish. We have the ingredients. We have some instructions, 8 to 10 minutes, and it looks pretty good. Now we have more options for our users to be able to select their preferences when generating the recipe. Now, you can go ahead and probably style this a little bit better now that we have all the functionality completed. But pretty much we just updated our application from just asking what ingredients do you want to use to all of these different options. So feel free to add more or remove some of these, style this up better so it can look more attractive. And now we have a way nicer application that has multiple options for the user to pick and have a better experience in our application. So that's everything for this video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.